We're going to continue our testing of another two-page role-play game, and this is a two-page espionage genre, and a theater of the mind play here, and it is the Eternal Super Spy. Now, I am going to play Dr. Adventure from the 2004 Space Gamers site, and we're going to take him on an adventure into not the heart of Africa, but into Egypt. And the espionage game can actually be played in a variety of different periods, depending upon whether or not you want an Agatha Christie-style mystery or a Indiana Jones-style adventure, a James Bond, or even into some of the more fanciful Avengers or Men from U.N.C.L.E. Or you could have a hard-broiled detective in a noir. So, it's, again, typical of the two-page role-play. It is 2 pages. You have the Eternal Super Spy. You have a name. You should have a code name. You're going to select from Secret Agent, Femme Fatale, Specialist, or Resident Expert. And the Resident Expert should be associated with some other firm. And depending upon, what era you're playing in, the firms will be different. Your research for that would probably be from a labor of love, so I don't need to tell you how to find it. And the gyroscopic clash, that's a little bit more than combat. That's, escape, and every time you see the hero hanging from upside down from the helicopter, a Mission Impossible style, you got a gyroscopic clash. And part of these sort of games, you have seduction and lies, and then the typical do something, anything, which is our catch-all to cover all of the gadgeteering and just basic build and explore and whatever. You have diabolical hurdles, critical insight, and critical deeds. But let's get started. I'm going to play obviously a specialist. Dr. Adventure is more of a specialist character, which means if I get into combat here or try to do any sort of seduction, I'm going to be in trouble because I am always 2 dice take the lower as a specialist, but I do something, anything, as my a prototypical character here, my explorer, my Solomon Kane, my Dr. Jones, and let's get started. And of course, it starts in the university, and that is myself and my old mentor Reginald, and we're discussing some glyphs and a finding that we're going to go on, and we're going to head to ancient Egypt, and we're going to take a liner there and investigate a new room that's been discovered in the Pyramid of Zoja. So along with us will be our faithful companion, Sanji. So Sanji and Reginald and Dr. Adventure off on an adventure. Just 3 men exploring the world. I'm not sure if we read anything into that or not, but we are three able men, capable men, strong men exploring the world. Well, not so capable, I guess. I go to the stateroom of Reginald, and he has been murdered. Now, how do I know he's been murdered? Let's go over now to make our first roll of the game. And we're going to look at this and we're going to say, is this do something, anything? Actually, it's a critical insight. I'm going to roll 2 dice and subtract 1, but I am destined in adding 1 to it. I should say 2 dice and not subtract 1, 2 dice and take the lower. Here comes my roll. It's a 1 and a 1. Oh my gosh. And so it's going to be a smiling foe. It's going to take an extra critical insight. That would be a 1, adding 1 because it's destined becomes a 2, a smiling foe. This would be not just 1 1 critical insight, but 2 critical insights that I would have to make from this discovery. I would actually try to figure out who the person is who killed Reginald and what was the method. And in this case, my character is totally inept at that, and I'll play it a little bit more farce. Tony Curtis in the main role, and we'll say, by God, he was an old man. We'll just bury him at sea and forget all about the mystery involved with that. Was 1 critical insight, I might get lucky and make. 2, I don't think so. So I check into the hotel here, and there's the Pyramid of Zosia in the background. Everything seems copacetic. They seem to be welcoming with open arms, but the man behind the counter suggests that in order to go into the new room of Zosia, I'm going to have to get permission, and so I'm going to have to visit somebody else. Who is that person I'm going to have to visit? Well, it's the head of the Cairo Museum. And Dirk, an English scholar who's the head of the Cairo Museum. A lot of these countries in Africa used to be protectorates of one place or another. And he does not want to give me permission, so I have to persuade him to give me permission, and that could be a critical deed. The mission would end here if I do not get a critical deed. And again, I've forgotten all about the fact that Reginald was murdered by somebody. Now, who could that be? And here comes my dice roll on my critical deed. I'm rolling 2 dice and taking the better of the 2 dice, a 2 and a 2. Ooh, the dice rolls are deserting me today. It's a fluke, but it becomes a 3 because I add 1, and it's a poltroon. I'm going to add an extra critical deed to solve. So not only do I come and talk to Dirk and say, well, sir, I need to visit the Pyramid of Zosia. I've got information of a new room that I wish to explore. It will not involve any sort of staff and the head of Raw. I won't do any of that. I just want to get in. And Dirk says, no. And I go, well, if that's your answer, then I accept. But no, the mission would end here. I'm going to need 2 critical deeds. Let's see if I can make the first one here. Sorry, it's a fluke. No, it's actually a pretty good roll for me because I add 1 to this and get a 2, and that 2 is a fluke, means I can select any result from seduction on the attempt. Now, I could gain that first critical insight toward who killed the doctor, my friend, my colleague, Professor Reginald. And I will do that. And hopefully sometime else in the adventure I will roll so unlucky and end up with a second fluke or go back to this table. I start to think about it a minute. Didn't I remember seeing Dirk was on our liner? Mr. Dirk, you only recently got your post in this position, is that correct? Yes, I was only quite recently appointed here from Her Majesty. Well, you're not a member of the peerage, of course, are you, like myself? No, I'm of common ancestry. Well, I mean, I could always write the Lord High Chamberlain and ask him, why somebody of so little distinguished, common men, can they be trusted with such artifacts? Well, no, don't do that. Let me see if I can assist you in getting a permit to go to the pyramid. And here comes my 2 dice roll, and it's a 5 and a 2. I had 1 because I'm still destined, and that means I got my critical deed, and I relied on my machinations in order to get permission to go to the Pyramid of Zosia. And next part of our quest here. Of course, I'm going to need supplies. It's not like I can bring a whole lot of supplies, so I visited the Grand Bazaar. It's a wonderful place. Almost anything can be purchased. Oh, look at that. There's some sort of magic trick with a fake cobra and it's a real cobra. Whoa, okay. No, I don't want any chutkeys. I'm looking for, the basics. Where can I buy archaeological materials? A shovel, I think, would be most appropriate at this moment. Yes, and a pith helmet. Those 2 things I need to purchase. And I will make a roll here, and it would probably be a critical insight roll to discover the fact I'm being followed. But I'm just going to do a do something anything to be so frustrating for anyone following me with the way I go hither and nod. And so let me roll my 2 dice here. A 6 and a 5. Starting to get some stride here on the dice. Dice fail early, dice good later. And here comes my critical deed. I could also have healed an injured comrade, but since I'm playing solo, I would be that injured comrade. And I have found the gear, but I did not necessarily notice that somebody else was following me. But I have my gear to continue my adventure here. But before I do that, I stop in for a spot of tea. This looks like a quaint place. Everyone here looks, brimming with local color. Hi there, sir. What are you drinking today? Oh, it seems absolutely foul, but I'm sure it's pleasant for you. And did you leave your knife in my table? And I realized that these ruffians probably were sent by someone else. Could I put 2 and 2 together with a critical insight and realize that I could be the victim of foul play? critical insight's pretty tough. Let me roll one more time on that and see how bad it can be, and see if I pick up a second critical insight here. 2 dice, taking the lower. 3 and a 6. Oh, that would have been a good roll with that 6. But a 3 becomes a 4 because I'm adding 1 to destined. And I did get the ruse. And the party uses 3 die 6. So instead, I'm going to roll 3 die 6 and take a lower. Well, that's not going to be any good. Instead, I'm just going to roll 3 die 6 on gadgets, looking for a critical deed to get myself out of here. I'm going to slapstick myself out of this situation. And so I go to stand up and be quite affronted by the whole thing, pointing my umbrella at a man, saying, "You ruffians need to learn some class, and you know who your betters are." And here comes my 3 dice in the trifecta, and 6, 4, and 2, and they go to swing a club at me. I duck to pick up my kerchief that I had dropped. It hits the man in the face that was accosting me, and then I stand right up, and I jump up onto the chair because I think I see that cobra from the street, and that was when the man swung his scimitar under my legs, and I topple backward out of the chair into someone's arms, Sanji, of course, and he would come running and carry me away out of here. Sanji, I was negotiating with those men. We're going to need porters. Not the type of porters we want, good master. And so we're going to go on to our quest. And do I have another part of this? I think I do. And the ride out to the pyramid. Oh, it's an arduous 20-minute ride by camel. I don't really need to rent a camel, but you got to pose for the shot here. Do I fall off my camel? Let me see how good a camel rider I am. I'm going to roll 2 dice. I don't keep the 3 dice anymore. 2 dice riding my camel. I'm going to ride to the pyramids with Sanji and the body of Reginald. No, he could be left behind. Is that Dirk I see behind us? I'm not sure. And a 2 and a 3. A 2 and a 3 is going to be a add 1 because I'm destined. Is I'm going to be puzzled, and I cannot get to the pyramid with a critical deed on this table unless I get if I advance to the next scene, that can go away, and I cannot get I cannot remove that puzzled status, that perilled status, without a critical insight. Now, there are no artifacts. This is not a game of whimsy, but there are, high-tech gadgets. So perhaps Sanji can point out the fact to me that, but sir, if besides the fact you just open your eyes and see the Pyramid of Zosia here, you could always use that compass, the special one that was given to you by Lady Sally. Oh, that's true. Lady Sally. Oh, where is she right now? That's home pining away from me, most likely. No, sir, remember, she came along. She's your personal assistant. Oh, Lady Sally is with us as well. Well, that certainly adds another person could possibly be a potential murder suspect. But so Dirk and Lady Sally and Sanji, of course, and my faithful dog Tangiers. I think. Well, let me roll again, and I'll roll again on the gadgets and do something using my compass. And I get a 3 + 1. No, I'm afraid I have no idea where the... at this point, I can either end the quest at 13 minutes, or I can rely on the fact that maybe Sanji's story will take over. Sanji, why don't you take over the narrative at this point, because I need a nap. My master was never going to find the Pyramids of Zosia. In fact, he was not even seeking the Pyramids of Zosia. He was seeking the secondary step pyramid, the one that was much further down the Nile. I rented a boat and went on, and let me see. If I change characters from Dr. Adventure, Sanji won't be a specialist. Sanji would be a secret agent sent by the British government to watch this important figure. We don't want a man of the peerage here to be lost. I had worked for British Secret Service for a long time, protecting my master, and making sure that no foul play ever came to him. We took a boat, but there was crocodiles in the water. But I distracted my master and said that he needed to attend to this line on the sail, and it was really just busy work for him. He needed to coil it in exactly 12 links, and I knew by the time he got to 10, he would be quite confused and would have to start over. And while he did that, I said, there are bandits on the shore. And what I was really doing was just trying to poke away the crocodiles that were coming at us. I'm going to roll a gyroscopic clash, looking to defeat some sort of evil counterpart here. Let me roll 2 dice. Sanji gets a 6 and a 5, and Sanji has easily, with his gun or his knife, defeated this creature. So let's go on to our quest. And there it was, right before us. I had hoped that my master couldn't be lost. Going this far now, but I noticed his hat was pulled down over his eyes. He was always worried about the sun. You know what they say about man-dogs and Englishmen. It's quite true. We approached the pyramid, but we're not sure how to get into the pyramid. Let me see. Sir, may I borrow your set of instructions on opening the magic lock to get into the pyramid here? Of course. Don't lose that. I know how you non-English British subjects tend to lose things. Yes, sir, of course. And here comes my roll as Sanji. Now, Sanji rolls do something, anything, 2 dice, and take the lower as a secret agent, so maybe he will not. But what I can do is I can flip over to critical insight, and as a secret agent, I roll a d6. So here comes my d6 plus 1 of the roll. 3 becomes a 4. It's a ruse. Sir, it's a dreaded lion. Now, a lion, oh my. So you should probably, lions are blind to 2 dimensions. You should turn sideways so that it cannot see you. Oh, really? That seems hardly something that would stop a lion attack. No. If you present it with as little front as you can, it might get confused and think that you see a bigger enemy in the direction. Oh, that makes perfect sense. So I'm going to roll 3 dice here on the seduction of lies instead. And a 3, 3, and a 1. I doubled up my ruse with +1 of destin and back. No, sir. It's you're still facing the wrong direction. It's not perpendicular to the lion. It's perpendicular to the pyramid. It's a matter of ratios. Ratios. Well, I wasn't very good at math, but I will trust you on this. And 3 dice. I get that 6. At 6, it's a defeat a henchman, a evil counterpart, gain a critical insight. He gains a critical insight, so Sanji knows how to get into the Great Pyramid here. Well, that's an awful lot of scribbles. I wonder who carved them all. They had time, so it took 70 years to build it. 70 years! Well, that's why few of our better engineers could probably put this up in a day, wouldn't you say? London Bridge and all. London Bridge is falling down, sir. Oh, yes, children's rhymes. So, there's a maze here that we got to get in, and, we'll do a typical Hollywood. It could be, sort of a sand trap where, scything blades and poisoned blow guns. That's more of the Andes, isn't it? So how do I get through the maze? Well, in this case, I probably would have to bow out of Sanji and say, well, I got you here, sir. I think it's time for you to take back over the quest. Well, taking back over the quest? I never left the quest. Sanji, I think you're mistaken here. And so I'm going to go back playing Dr. Adventure. The Doc. Hey, Doc. With a flourish. And we come back to the quest page, and the Doc is going to need to find his way through the maze, and that's obviously going to be a critical deed. So Doc rolling on critical deed, he's going to roll 2 something to take the better of the dice. Let's see what we got here. 2 dice, here it comes. 5 and a 1, 1 because it's destined. He's got gadgets. He's going to defeat a henchman or perform a critical deed, and that's what he needed. He needed a critical deed to get through this maze. It's very obvious. We're going to use the right hand rule. We're going to put our right hand against the wall, and we're going to go along and follow every wall section, and eventually we'll go all the way through the maze, always touching the right hand wall. But what if you go in a circle, sir, where it has a series of right hand turns that end up in a more of a square function? I have no idea what you're talking about, Sanji. It's we're not dealing with some sort of IPA here that I know you're fond of. Okay, so that's fine. We'll just follow along, and here we go. We got. Are we into the last of it? Oh, it's mummy attack. Well, why not have a mummy attack? This is sort of a Hollywood type of thing, and those assistants here in the sashes, they look dangerous. And Dr. Adventure can defeat henchmen with his do something anything. However, he cannot defeat an evil counterpart. But we'll see we'll see how far. Can you even get that second insight that he needs to know? That possibly Dirk had been following all along, and he was the one that killed Reginald. Well, let's see if we can have a surprise ending here. Two henchmen needed to be defeated by Dr. Adventure. The first thing he does is he opens his umbrella, thinking that he felt a leak, and as he opens the umbrella, the edge of it, where Sanji has sharpened the spines and added a little contact poison against the first henchman. 2 dice, 6 and 1. That would be defeated henchman. The poison clipped the man's cheek, and it was only a minor cut, but the poison takes effect, and he melts away in special effects wonder. And Dr. Adventure spins to find what happened to this man who left this pile of filth on the floor. Somebody's got to clean this up. And when he folds his umbrella back up and sticks it backwards, that's when the secret dagger at the end of its cane gets activated accidentally in the gadget. And here comes the 2 dice. A 1 and a 3, but it's going to be a 4. He's puzzled for a moment. He drops. He loses his status. He loses his destined status, and he makes no more attempts until the action passes. The only way to beat that is with Seduction of Lies, Critical Insight. And in comes Sanji to the rescue. Sir, you might still have the sun coming through. It's the ultraviolet that could penetrate all of the different blocks of stone even. Well, it doesn't seem likely, and how would a little tiny piece of fabric, silk fabric, actually add more? Well, silk has that magic eastern properties. Oh yes, the Orient. Always a place of mystery. I'm going to jump in here with my Seductions and Lies from Sanji, looking to get myself a critical insight to eliminate the puzzled status of my master. And here comes with 2 dice. 2 dice is 4 and a 5. Sanji is still destined, and I am destined again, or I have that critical insight. I'm going to take, in this case, the critical insight to eliminate the puzzle status and put us back into my master fighting. And here comes 2 dice. And this is very common when you play solitaire. You can play in small groups here. In fact, Eternal Super Spy is definitely a game that works really well with 2 players and a referee or 2 players bantering back and forth. Here comes my do something anything roll. It's a 4 and a 5. He has not got destined status, so the best we have is peril. We're going to add an evil counterpart. And the mummy rose up from the grave. That's not going to be good. I got an evil mummy. I have to defeat a henchman, and it happens again. We're going to use a 3. Okay, well I'm still going to roll for Dr. Adventure here to see if I can get the injury on the second henchman, at least give him some satisfaction for the game. A 4 and a 5 again. That 5 has happened a second time, which means we're going to result 3. Poltroon, an extra critical deed. That's 2 critical deeds, an evil counterpart, and a henchman. And in steps Sanji, because our doctor is absolutely frightened when the mummy comes up. I do not understand any of this, and so I shall faint. Fainting again, my master. Well, okay. Well, let's go into gyroscopic clash mode. And here comes, as if he's Kato, and handling what the Green Hornet could not. I'm going to roll 2 dice on gyroscopic clash and try to knock out that evil counterpart first. Double 1s. Double 1 plus 1. I've been japped. I have a diabolical hurdle as well. I have 2 critical deeds. I have a critical deed, a diabolical hurdle. I have a evil henchman and a evil counterpart. All 4 rolls that need to make. At least some of these are pretty good and possible on gyroscopic clash. Here comes my roll. Sanji's in trouble. He's going to have to resort to his machine gun, and out comes a machine pistol. Early model, but very effective and looks wonderful on camera. Here comes the 2 dice roll, a 5 and a 2 plus 1 because he's destined. Boom, 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 boom. The evil counterpart turns out to not to be a supernatural mummy. He falls to the ground bleeding, and here it comes. Boom, 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 boom. But I get a 3, I blink. No more rolls here. Uh-oh. And add a d6 henchman, or lose my destined status. I will lose my destined status rather than adding. I have an evil henchman. I have a critical deed. I have a diabolical hurdle, and I cannot roll on this table. I need to get a critical insight to at least get back on my gyroscopic clash. Sanji stands up and says, wait a second. I am just a servant. A servant is a servant. I can be your servant. I can be his servant. He is on the ground now, bleeding out. And my master is fully fainted, so what would you like me to do? But it is a lie. I plan not to serve these evil men that are still in the area. But I have one die. I'm not destined. Here comes a 5. A 5 as I dither. It happens again. Treat as a 6 and add an evil counterpart. The man I shot gets back up, very angry. I have a henchman to defeat. I have a diabolical hurdle to overcome, and I got a critical deed that must be solved before I can end this mission. And here comes my first roll. My master is passed out on the ground, and I'm still rolling on seduction and lies, trying to get myself a 6, or trying to get my destined status back. A 6. I will take destined status back. That is such an important thing. So I still have evil counterpart, diabolical hurdle, critical deed, and evil henchman. If you're keeping score at home, that is 4-1 against Sanji. Sanji with his machine pistol, and he starts to pistol whip someone in front of him. He's trying to get a critical insight in how he can get back into gyroscopic clash. It's the arena we're fighting in. If we move back to those twisting and turning hallways, I could perhaps defeat them individually. Rolling them out. 1 die again, but adding 1. 5 becomes 1. I have the critical insight. I have overcome the fact that I was... I blinked. Overcome critical deed. Wait, did I just cheat myself? In order to come a blink... Oh, a critical deed can be used to remove the penalties of blink. I needed a critical deed. What am I talking about here? I didn't need a critical insight. What did that critical insight get me? I realized that the mummy was in fact Dirk. That is the second critical insight. We needed a Dirk all along. The man, the common man. Of course, the common man is behind the crime. The common man cannot be trusted with anything in this era. And so the common man was behind the crime. We're going to go ahead and we got to defeat him as an evil counterpart. We got to defeat a henchman. We got to overcome a diabolical hurdle. But I need a critical deed. In order to get a critical deed, I will use as well that critical insight. Can I use a critical insight to wake my master? Critical insight can remove perilled or puzzled. Puzzled. I slap my master. Wake out of this, man. I need you to make a critical deed. Whoa. There's no need to get into that sort of play, rough play, Sanji. We reserve that for quiet time. And so back to Dr. Adventure. Dr. Adventure will be the one to make this do something, anything roll. 2 dice. Adding 1. A 4. He immediately falls back puzzled again. No, he doesn't, because he is, he doesn't have destined status. It's a 3. He poltroons. He adds an extra critical deed to solve. This whole thing has degenerated into a pie fight for all I know. We may never solve this mystery of the pyramids, and that is where I'll leave it for the day.